Social conflict is what you're seeing outside of these schools. Social conflict is what you see on the news every day.
Over and over and over again. All I see is negativity on my TV screen.
As for local news, Detroit Public Schools reopen next week. This semester, things are very different. The new law saying that school teachers and administrators are free to carry firearms into the classroom.
Hey, David, how you doing?
You know, since you always give a present to your student, I got a present for you.
No gun control, no students. No gun control, no students.
How could you go in there knowing that there's people in there with guns, ready to shoot down the next black child? And don't get me started on that punk-ass Principal Fitzgerald with his Trump-loving ass.
Move out of my goddamn way, or it's gonna be a problem.
We already got a problem.
Now, all things considered, you of all people should understand. No offense.
No offense taken, but this has nothing to do with me or my son.
Bear, get back to your post. I'll take Miss Davis to her classroom.
Can you handle this?
All I want to do is make a difference in the kids' lives.
Okay, well, go make that difference.
We know who you are. We know who you are. Can anyone tell me what that means?
Yeah, it's like when people don't think for themselves.
I don't care how free you think, slavery wasn't no damn choice.
What? I guess you think DLM terrorists too.
If you so adamant about it, why you not out there protesting with them, dumbass?
I got your dumb ass. Just because you straight don't mean I won't beat your ass.
And just because you smell like a coochie don't mean I won't knock the period off you.
Bitch, I wish you
Fuck you
would.
talking about?
Why are you here anyway? It was your crazy ass best friend who killed my favorite teacher. If he wanted to kill anybody, he should have killed your ass. Harder. What? Come here.
Charmaine, do you know why your son killed Tillerson?
No.
I'm so sorry.
Why didn't you tell me? Why didn't you tell me? And who else knows about this?
All I can say is Carver Alliston might have
Carver?
some... Yes. He might have all the answers that you need. He was one of the main victims, Charmaine. I'm
Carver?
Sorry. Yeah, I'm
Carver?
sorry.
Take your medicine today. I took half. No, y'all gonna get cut the fuck up today. I'm so tired of you messing with me.
What you doing, dog?
No gun control, no students. No gun control, no students.
What up, those sexy people? What up, though, beautiful people? I just wanted to share a little bit of that good energy with those good vibes with y'all. What's up, what's up, what's up, sexy people? What's up? Welcome to another episode of Nights with Nikki. Y'all, I'm not even going to hold y'all up. I almost did not do this tonight. And why? Because I know it may not seem like it, but I feel like I'm like one of the hardest working women in show business. It's bananas. It's so much going on. Hey, Lamar, we see you. What up, Doe? What up, Doe? If you guys are coming in, checking us out on YouTube or Facebook or LinkedIn, please do me the kind favor of liking the video, sharing the video, and subscribing to the video. You guys, we have a really good show for y'all tonight. I initially wasn't even going to do the show tonight because I'm just, all over the place. I'm super duper busy. Oh, you know what? I told my Instagram people I was coming back. I know they need to bring their answers. They need to bring their answers on over here to this here YouTube. But we gonna go on and give them some love, you guys. Thank y'all for hitting that like button. I hope you guys had an opportunity to check out the live that I did last night. It was super duper random, and that's part of the reason why I did not do a nights with Nikki, a traditional nights with Nikki, because I just cooked dinner for my family, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna get out here on these here internet streets and just share a few things. I just saw a message from my cousin. You guys, I saw a post today, just super random. I saw a post today, and the post said, I don't need therapy, I need a beach chair. And that is about how I feel in my life and in my spirit right now. I do feel like therapy for me would come in the form of a beach chair. Does anyone else feel like that right now? I most certainly, absolutely, positively do. I am about to bring on my soror so she can give us an update on the latest and the greatest in this Diddy trial. There is so much going on. This is one of your faves. Give a nice round of applause. Let me find my applause. Let me find my applause. There it is. Give a nice round of applause for my soror. It's muted. Hold on. There you go. Oh, no. That's the problem right there. We are applause. Okay. I think I got to stop the song. All right, let's do this right. Big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, for my soror, Lauren. L Boogie, what it do? What it do?
What's going on, good people? Whew. We got a lot to get into today.
Greer. Okay, well, I'm going to give you the stage because the people are familiar by now. I'm going to go on ahead and give Lauren the stage so she can give us an update on the latest. Look, exactly. Lamar said, well, honey, we got a lot to unpack. Here you go, L Boogie. Work it out for.
All right, y'all. So if you all have been following what's been going on in the Diddy trial over the past 2 days, okay, there have been some just really, really good updates. So according to USA Today via Yahoo News, because I always have to, give credit to where I get the information from, because guess where I am not? In New York City. Okay. It was Diddy's decision not to testify. So the judge asked him very clearly multiple questions. They had a discussion in open court or if he was going to testify or not. He made a conscious decision, he said, after discussing it with his attorneys, to not testify. So he did not testify, which means that there will be no witnesses being called forth in his defense. Now, in court yesterday, after the prosecution had their last witness on the stand and they, did the cross-exam with the defense and all that other good jazz, we were done with that. It was the defense turn to present their case. The defense feels like the prosecution has not made their case, so therefore they decided not to present any witnesses. So Sean Puff Daddy Diddy Love Combs is not taking the stand in his own defense per the advice of his attorneys. Now, as we talked about earlier, his legal team is submitting a motion to have the decision made by the judge and not the jury. Well, tomorrow when they go back in court, they're gonna basically get things wrapped up and then start these closing arguments so we can get this wrapped up. The defense basically, since they're not calling any witnesses, said, okay, we're done. And they was done in less than 30 minutes with all the additional information that they needed to present to have on record. So even if somebody is not going to take the stand, if a witness or any witnesses come to the aid of the defense of the defendant, their attorneys still have the right to present any additional information and or any evidence that they want to be put on record for ever and a day. So that's what the defense did. We're going to go into closing arguments, and then the judge will make a decision on if he will make the final decision and hand down the verdict, or if he's going to give instructions to the jury. Now, the government did drop some charges that they don't want to be considered. So those charges are attempted kidnapping, arson, and the trafficking in Cali and in New York. So they didn't drop all the charges, but they don't want the jury to consider those charges if the judge decides that it's going to go to the jury for the jury to make the final decision. So that was a very interesting uh, pivot to say, because they were hanging a lot of stuff on those things, especially because the trafficking across country is part of the RICO statute with the racketeering. So I thought that was very interesting. So no witnesses being called. The defense rested in 30 minutes after they had all of their stuff put into evidence. And tomorrow we start closing arguments, which should be done by Friday. And then that's when the judge will make his decision about how to proceed, if he's going to make the ruling or if he's going to send it to the jury. Boom.
Wow. Boom. All right, L Boogie with the noise. There it is. So what's really interesting is I've been watching a lot of coverage of this, and a lot of people are just conflicted, and it seemed like people are starting to hit them corners and them lolos, girls, starting to change up and switch up a little bit. There are a few people out here on YouTube that I just was kind of like, I always wondered what would happen if the people who are just so convinced that this man should go to jail for the rest of his life had to deal with the fact that we didn't find no RICO and we didn't find some of this other stuff. So that does not mean, Lauren, let me ask you, does that mean that his chances of being charged on these other cases is he still stands just as much a chance of being convicted, or the fact that they have dropped a lot of these charges, does that make his case less, make it stronger for the defense?
And that's the thing, because there has been so many things that have been presented. Now, for these specific things that they asked the judge to, take those things out of consideration, they asked the judge to instruct the jury to not consider those things if it goes to the jury. So I'm not sure how, because the judge still has to make a ruling on that. So as of right now, they're still in, but they can be taken out. Now, if they are taken out, then that would change. If he is found guilty, that would change the number in his sentencing of like how much time he would get in prison. So it could be less than life, because I believe with all of the charges as they were originally submitted, the time would have been like 60, 70, 80 something years, which is basically the rest of his life, because he's almost 60. So
yeah, I think they were overcharging him, and I'm not a prosecutor, I don't know, but I always felt like it was just something about this whole case for me that felt like it was a lot. Like I didn't, as I started kind of, and again, I have not been following this case. I'm not a lawyer. I have my own case, which I have a big update for you guys on that. I am going to share that with you guys, but I just didn't want to start the show off with the P-Valley rant. I figured we'd do the Diddy update. Lamar says, I still do feel sorry for P. Diddy. Very interesting. I think, Lamar, can you expound on that a little bit? Because, I personally did not want to see him go to jail for life. I'm always thinking about his children. Again, I did not see a lot of the trafficking, and what I saw was like freaky behavior. I definitely saw domestic violence. We've all agreed that that was terrible. But I don't know that I feel sorry for him. So can you, Lamar, explain why you feel sorry for Diddy? And while you get into that and share that with us, what's up, Tanika? She says, if I'm honest, there was a lot of prosecutorial overreach. They're trying to pull conspiracy charges out of thin air. It just might work, but I don't think that they will get a life sentence out of this. I don't either. I don't. And maybe I'm just being cautiously optimistic. I love the fact that he had a jury. And this Rule 29 thing, I guess there were so many things that were happening with the jurors being dismissed allegedly, and maybe some stuff that was supposed to be super private being released. So I feel like there was kind of a circus, not a circus, because Diddy actually complimented the judge, Submaranian, I want to say is his name. I might be pronouncing it wrong, but he complimented him on how well he handled the trial, and I allegedly said that he felt like he was doing a good job. But what do you guys think? Did you see, just because we are the average juror, like we the ones that they supposed to convince, not we as in, because we're not on the jury, but I'm saying the layman, the average person is supposed to be the person that they convince that there was some foul play involved. I don't know. I have no idea. I really don't have any idea what the judge is going to say in this case. But if the judge takes it upon himself and does, I guess it's called a desk trial. I'm sorry. Is it called a bench trial? I think it's called a bench trial when the judge makes the decision to determine whether or not the case is acquitted. There's an acquittal or the case goes forward. So whatever happens, I'm truly wishing Diddy the best. And I know that's probably going to be frowned upon, but I've said throughout this whole process, I don't want to see him go to jail for the rest of his life. I don't see, I wasn't there. I don't know what happened. And it just feels like if there was all of this stuff that they talked about and all this excessive force that they used when they came to his house and military trucks, and I thought we were just going to hear about all kinds of craziness. And I just still haven't heard that. So, domestic violence, I think the statute is up. Not that it was okay. We don't agree, but I think the statute is up on that. And I don't know, criminal organization. Here's a question: if he was operating a criminal organization and he's in the music industry and making money off of is he the only one? Don't you need a whole lot of people for it to be a RICO? And is it all on him? I don't know. But yeah, Lamar, I'm curious as to how you're feeling. Sorry for him, and in what way? Not to be sarcastic, because I'm very, very curious. Yeah. Very interesting. Well, guys, another thing we need to have a little bit of a conversation about. Baby. Listen, my brother from another mother, he's actually from Michigan as well, Christian Keys. I want you guys to take a listen to this. I debated about whether I was going to actually show it. I'm not going to show it because I don't know what the rules are. It is a little long, but I want you guys to listen to this. And we are going to discuss it because it sounds to me like our dear brother Christian Keys is a little, not just a little, he's a lot fed up. And as a creative, I can definitely relate to that. But take a listen to this, you guys, and tell me what your thoughts are.
It is disappointing to continuously find out that your show is coming back on the internet instead of finding out from the network. And I've mentioned that in previous seasons, and it's still happening. Or to see the trailer online and have to go search for the trailer so I can try to download the trailer for the hit show that I created for this studio and this network, instead of getting it sent when everybody else is getting theirs. It does feel dismissive and disrespectful when it continues to happen and you've addressed it and it still happens. So at this point, I do not believe that the prequel series that I've written and the spinoff show, or any prequel or sequels, I do not believe I'll be doing them with BET. I'm speaking with some amazing people that are interested, other streamers. So the All the Queens Men universe will continue to thrive. I'm just not sure where it's going to be. It's not up to the studio. It's not up to the network. It's up to me. thankfully. So I will let you guys know where it's going to end up. You know, whether you noticed or not, season 2, my Created by credit was removed. And I asked to get it back, and they said no. And I ended up having to call the WGA, call the union to force the studio to give me my credit back that I had earned. I created this 15 years ago, and I've been working on it for 15 years. I think God gave it to me because he knew I was going to protect it, and I will. But some things, you know, these things got to change. So I'll figure out where it's going to be, but the universe will continue. All the Queens Men universe will carry on. And it'll continue to get even bigger and even better. The Vegas residency, I'm looking at next summer for the stage play, All the Queens Men Live. I'm hoping to drop it in Vegas at an amazing casino. I'm speaking with a couple casinos right now. Hoping to drop it in there next summer and then go on tour, hopefully to a city near you or to your city. So, and the play is written. It's incredible. So I'm really excited about that. So there's a lot of good news, a lot of great things going on within the All the Queens Men world. In the prequel and sequel space, unfortunately, there are going to be a few personnel changes. You know, sometimes it happens, unfortunately, where some people get entitled or arrogant and unprofessional and, you know, start coming to work high and inebriated on a regular basis, or start saying whatever they want to when the camera's rolling, and disrespectful ad-libs and things, and those things will be addressed. So there may be some personnel changes, but the show will go on, and I'm excited about it. I'm excited about the future. I'm excited about July 24th, and I love and appreciate y'all. Thank you for the love and support for our favorite show.
Wowzers. So that was our dear brother Christian Keys. You guys, if you're just bopping into the live or you're watching us on Facebook or LinkedIn, please make sure you come in and you hit that like button. We have a lot to talk about tonight, a lot to unpack. We got some responses to the Diddy questions I'm going to get into. But if you were catching the tail end of that, just FYI, Christian Keys has announced that he is stepping away from BET. Not that he's stepping away from BET's All the Queens Men, but that he is stepping away from BET with that project. He announced via Instagram today he won't be doing any spinoffs related to BET projects, including prequels, sequels, or other potential things. He's doing a stage/Vegas residency that he's working on because he wants to extend the franchise. Go Christian. Go Christian. I actually directed a stage play that Christian was in called Sweet Potato Pie. Just FYI. He's also from Michigan, so do not play. I told y'all these Detroit and Michigan and Flint and these Grand Rapids, we don't play. Allegations tied back to Tyler Perry lawsuit. His 2023 Instagram Live resurfaced, y'all, where he claimed a powerful, I didn't mean to say Tyler Perry, scratch that. Because again, as I've stated several times, Christian never said it was Tyler. So we can't run with that narrative. But he claimed a powerful man in Hollywood tried to sexually harass him without naming names. He also posts claims that in light of, people are saying that in light of the recent allegations, there's something there. That's it. He's July 24th, 1975. He's doing a bunch of really dope stuff. I'm sorry, he was born July 24th, 1975. He said he was looking forward to July 24th, so that's his birthday. He's publicly distancing himself. His past allegations have resurfaced, and the entertainment world is watching closely as this unfolds. It could really evolve into something major. I know that I'm real extra curious about who he was talking about when he said people be showing up to the set late and thinking they could ad-lib and stuff. That is interesting, but I guess it's messy of me to want, human nature. We want to know what he's talking about. But Sora, before I bring you in to comment on the Christian Keys situation, I wanted to give, Danica says, as it relates to Diddy, if this was a DV case, there would be no conversation here. But Rico is extra, very extra. And I agree. Lamar says, I just feel like the industry loves to tear down black men. I am not dismissing the real victim's pain. But for right now, my emotions is everywhere with this case. Yep, I agree. I agree. And it's just, it's hard because to Lamar's point, Danica, and we've even talked about this as well, it's really hard to, it's like the boy who cried wolf. It's hard to hear about all of these things, the baby oil and minors and all this debauchery that was going on and all this terrible stuff. And then when you get into court and the evidence, which is why evidence and a jury and having the opportunity to present those things is so important, because now that Diddy's evidence is being presented, he's not even taking a stand. And at first I thought, he should take the stand. He should take the stand. He should humanize himself. And now I'm just kind of like, well, I mean, I guess his lawyers made the right decision by him not taking a stand, because all you're doing is giving people opportunity to ask more questions and screw up something that turns out a lot of charges got dropped. So I mentioned on my live last night, and I may have mentioned here as well, really interesting tidbit. One of the lawyers in Diddy's criminal trial is actually the partner. There's two women who run a law firm, maybe three of them, I don't know. But Katori Hall has the same lawyer. So Shapiro, Arado, and Bach is the law firm. Shapiro's Diddy's lawyer. Arado is Katori's lawyer. Katori hired a separate lawyer. I'm going to get into that. I'm going to give you guys an update. I have a really interesting P-Valley update that I want to share. But yeah, I feel you. It's like, it's kind of boy who cried wolf. What do you think, Lauren? Do you think that if Diddy gets off, what do you predict for the Supreme Court has already told R. Kelly, don't even think about it. We not switching up your verdict. But what do you think this is going to do? And chat, feels free to chime in. So a few other cases. You got Fat Joe, you got all these other people who are being accused of stuff, and we may end up finding out that folks are just out here chasing lawsuits.
Well, it can be good or bad. So it's like, if the prosecution, the government in this case, because these are federal charges, not just state charges, because there's more than one state involved, which is why it's in federal court. If the government has not proved their case, which some people are saying they have, some people are saying they haven't, some people are saying the only thing that they proved is that he loves to have sex parties, which is not a crime if everybody, chose to be there. So if it is the case where he does get acquitted of all of these charges, that could set a precedent in some regard, but only for like black men, because other men of other races have been doing these things for years and have gotten off scot-free. Some of them have just left the country and never came back and went somewhere where they couldn't be extradited. So it's kind of like, if he does, depending on how the sentencing go, even if it's not a long sentence, because of his age, that is still a life sentence, because he's like in his 60s or about to be 60, which would still, if he gets 20 something years, that's still a life. That's like the rest of his life, basically. So I can see it going either way at this point, but it's kind of like, we really don't, unless you're sitting in the courtroom every day, unless you're hearing every single word that's being said and seeing every piece of evidence that's being presented. And it's like, the reporters that are there have stated that they don't see everything that the jury sees, because some of the things have been videos or pictures that have been shown only to the jurors. The judge sees it, of course, and then, the prosecution and the defense sees it. So it's kind of like, this is one of those things where we really just have to wait and see what happens. If he did these things, then of course he needs to go to jail. But I agree with, like, some people in the chat was saying, like, I do think the RICO charges were a bit much. And then also what you said, like, where's everybody else? Because if you look at what RICO has done in the past, what it was really created for was for the mafia. And they never could get some of these old mobsters from the back in the 1920s and 30s. They couldn't get them on legit charges, so they would get them like for tax evasion. That's how they got them. So it wasn't for what they were actually doing. They got them for something else. And I kind of feel like some of this is like getting him for something else so they can still get him for something.
Okay, let's get into some of the comments in the chat. My sister Haven is in the building, and she, it's that Detroit vibe. She said everybody thinks Diddy's getting off and going home. Diddy is definitely getting some jail time, and he's still lame AF. So tell him how you really feel, twin. Tell him how you really feel. Lamar says, again, I also feel like the industry set him up. If Diddy is going down, then the rest of them who were in his corner need to be locked up as well. Y'all, I'm not going to tell y'all how many times. Y'all, please do me a favor if you're coming in, checking me out on Instagram. I'm sorry, not Instagram, on YouTube. Matter of fact, let me go live on Instagram so I can bring some of these people into this conversation. But please hit the like button for me. So Lamar, you make a really valid point. I have always said that there are more people, had to be more people involved in this. And maybe that is the reason why. You never know, honey. Friends in high places. I told y'all, when I tell y'all about this update on P Valley, honey, all I got to say is the truth does have a price tag, for sure. Danica says, oh, yes, and I believe that the government needs to intends to reference R. Kelly's RICO case to help with their closing. 100%. You guys, what up, IG? I'm on WIRF.TV YouTube channel. So the UDA gonna start booting y'all off of IG anyway. So you might as well go on over to WIRF.TV YouTube channel and hit like and subscribe on your way in. Welcome to our world. We are talking about Diddy. We are talking about Christian Keys. We are talking about an update on P Valley and all things under the sun. But the R. Kelly RICO thing, I think that is definitely something that they will intend to bring up, especially since he just recently lost at the Supreme Court level. So that'll obviously add some leverage to their argument. But what's really interesting is I was looking at a clip with Sunny Hostin from The View. She was on a podcast, and she was saying that she thought that the prosecutors overreached as well. And she mentioned, and I'm paraphrasing and don't quote me on it, but she clerked for one of the judges who helped establish this RICO Act thing. So, that's real interesting, right? So she said she felt like, I want to say that's what she said. She definitely said, I want to say that's what she said, and she definitely said, I believe that is what she said. XO is in the building. What up? He said, exactly, Lauren. And also, as I've stated in previous lives, an acquittal will surprise me. I can see the conviction on transportation charges or a hung jury. Additionally, he doesn't have dozens of civil cases. Now, what's really interesting is, I don't know if you guys have been paying attention to the news, but it looks like the attorney, Tyrone Blackburn, who was largely responsible for a lot of these lawsuits against Diddy, I think he still has people that he's representing that were connected to the Diddy trial. He got arrested today, allegedly. Allegedly. What had happened was, allegedly, I need that Wendy Williams allegedly button. What happened was, he was getting served by a process server, maybe possibly connected to Fat Joe. Perhaps that's what they saying in the internet streets. And he flipped out and ran the guy over. So I don't know what that was all about. I don't know if he felt in fear or something along the lines of that, but that's what they say happened. Please don't forget to hit like, share, and subscribe. Let's get into the Christian Keys thing. Good point here. Danica says, Nikki, did I miss something? How is he able to put it on another platform while it's currently on BET? I'm gonna address that smear campaign question on Instagram. So, Danica, what I think he's saying is that he has ownership. I think that's his shit. I think that Christian probably, I don't know. It seems like there was something and I got to tiptoe around this a little bit because, you know, Christian is my people. But I think that there was something about some kind of issue with all the Queen's men when he was talking about this powerful man that was kind of trying to manipulate him. And I don't know if he connected it directly. We got to go back and find that live. But he was talking about what happened and like, don't try me and don't play with me. And then it kind of segued into a little bit of conversation about, Lauren, do you recall hearing something about him talking about his show? And there was something going on with his show. Maybe I'm wrong. I might be hearing things.
I don't remember that specifically. I did just while I was doing a little research before our show today, you know, found a couple of things. And basically it's like trying to take away his credit for being the actual creator, which is something that he mentioned in his video. I did see
And this was it. Did he mention it in the video today, or he mentioned it in the video when he was talking about? He didn't mention it before.
I couldn't find anything from I couldn't find like the live from before, because when you sent it to me, I was like, well, let me go see what I can find. But I don't know where that live is. I will try to find it for, you know, future when we talk about this again later, because I know it's going to come back up. But because he is listed as a creator and then he is listed as a writer, and I did in the what I found out about All Queen's Men and how this show came about. It debuted a couple years ago in 2021, but excuse me, it came from a book that he wrote back in 2015 called Ladies Night. And then how it works is when you have something that's coming from a written work, you can option it to a studio or network. And then when you option it and they say, okay, yeah, we're going to greenlight this project and turn it into a show or movie, you get the credit as the creator. But he also gets the credit as a writer because the first season is basically stemming from the book. Now, he doesn't have any director credits or producer credits, just as the creator and as the writer. But because Mr. Perry is the executive producer and director, he is also listed as a writer on the show as well. Along with, there are several other people that are directors and producers and writers on the show. But that's where this show originally came from, was the book that he wrote back in 2015. And he is from Detroit. He was raised in Flint. So that basically means don't F with him. If you know anything about Flint, don't do it. You know anything about Detroit?
Don't do it.
Don't do it.
Don't play. Detroit versus everybody. Okay, so I just asked to check the computer because, you know, the computer knows all things. It says in his initial December 2023 video, he did not mention All the Queen's Men, nor did he ever say All the Queen's Men. I'm sorry. When speaking about being harassed by a powerful man in Hollywood. Here's what he focused on: an incident after drinking, safe, guest room, powerful man, very similar to Dixon. He emphasized an individual has several black people on payroll, but never referenced specific project names. I feel like at some point he was like, quit playing with me, or I don't know. I have to go back and watch the video. Here is a couple comments from Instagram. Even though y'all not on my YouTube hitting like, coming in, I'm gonna go on ahead and acknowledge some of these Instagram comments, and then I have a couple more that I want to address on YouTube. Forever Deshaun says he never connected it, but I do remember he was insinuating that it was a certain person that tried him. I don't know that he ever said that man's name. I think we're all just assuming that that's who he was talking about. We have to just accept that. Anytime when we're winning in life, stuff does backfire on the culture, and the culture bandits and the culture vultures. Absolutely 100%. YT people get privileges. We just get a reality check without the payment checks. Baby, hold on. Would you tell them? Because I'm trying to tell you, Ike. You know, I'm normally on your YouTube checking in. Thank you, y'all chiming in. Exactly. I really appreciate that. Okay, let's get into some of these YouTube comments. I believe. Okay, let me get down a little bit. All right, another one from Haven. She says, no one can set up a person who has shown they have domestic violence issues. I'm sure it was a bit more. They never came out and spoke. Most are afraid. I think it's sad that people don't take advantage of freedom of speech. No one will ever beat me, and I'll stay quiet about it. That's my sister, and I'm trying to tell you 100%. She ain't never lied. She telling the whole truth, nothing but the truth. And I wanted to run this by you guys real quick as it relates to Diddy, because I did ask the computer that knows all what the computer thought about the recent announcements, and how my question was, what is the best and worst case scenarios with Diddy with these new announcements? It said, with the recent announcements, charges dropped, arrest of a lawyer reportedly opposing him, and ongoing public speculation, the best and worst scenarios for Sean Diddy Combs are vastly different. Here's a clear breakdown. Now, again, keep in mind, this is just a computer, because I asked the computer about my case too, and I didn't like what the hell the bitch told me. Okay, I better be cool, because it's my computer. My computer. You're such a sweet computer. Okay. Robot, actually, is I think what ChatGPT is. But anyway, the feds, best case scenario for Diddy. All charges will be officially dropped or never really filed. Seems like a stretch. The feds or other authorities decide not to pursue criminal charges, closing investigations quietly due to lack of evidence. Seems kind of far. Public perception softens, especially if legal documents suggest no criminal wrongdoing. Civil cases settle quietly. Remaining lawsuits are dismissed or settled out of court, possibly with NDAs. Diddy maintains control over his assets, music catalog, and brand reputation. The narrative control is restored. He returns to business, relaunching music ventures, hosting events, and even reclaiming public support via interviews, documentaries, and charitable efforts. The arrest of the lawyer going against him could be framed as vindication for proof of bad faith attacks, and his legacy will stay intact. If public fatigue sets in, or if other major scandal eclipses his, Diddy's career will slowly rebound, much like that of other high-profile people. I do believe that part. I do believe that iRobot got that part right, because our attention spans are that long, and I do think that if, something else comes up, a bigger case, if this Tyler thing gets bigger, or if the Joe thing gets bigger, I mean, it would have to be a much bigger celebrity in order to take the shine off of Diddy, or the spotlight off of Diddy, but yeah. And the worst case scenarios for Diddy, this is what the robot says. Federal charges still incoming. Just because some charges were dropped or delayed does not mean the feds are done. A sealed, indictment or RICO charges could still emerge. Multiple jurisdictions are reportedly involved. New York, California. You mentioned that, Lauren, earlier. Public industry fallout deepens. High-profile artists, media outlets fully distance themselves from Diddy, which they've kind of already done. Streaming platforms and venues remove his work, cancel projects. I think some people have. More victims come forward inspired by recent developments. New accusers go public. This could lead to civil RICO lawsuits, fresh criminal inquiries, cover-up emerges, all kinds of stuff. Financial collapse or asset freezing. If Diddy is indicted or loses major civil judgments, his business could face seizure, shutdown, and massive financial penalties. Bad boy catalog, liquor partnerships, and real estate assets could all be threatened. In short, the current outlook, according to the robot, is Diddy may be playing a long game, staying quiet while his legal team works behind the scenes, but the optics are still dangerous. Multiple lawsuits, ongoing federal interest, and public skepticism have not gone away. All right, well, the computer seems to think it could go one way or the other. P.S. with Art says, Black culture has been questioned while they are championing our creations and creativity. You guys, make sure y'all go over. Black power with our money is dangerously in all good pluses and minuses. Yeah, I have to agree. Must be the money everywhere. Brother Calvin Tucker says he actually said it was not Tyler Perry in one of his videos or posts. Okay, well, did he actually say that? If he did, then those people who believed that it was Tyler should stand corrected. You know how social media is everybody runs with their own narrative to make it up as they go along. Okie dokie. And a documentary probably be made just like they did. Absolutely, sister. I have to agree with you. They will probably do a Diddy documentary. My question is, if they find out that all of this stuff that they said about Diddy, which I've never felt like it reached the status of a RICO. I'm not a legal eagle or a legal expert, but it's something just felt very overcharged to me. And I don't agree with domestic violence, and I don't agree with the R word and none of that other stuff, but it felt very much like it was, they were reaching just maybe a little bit. And that feeling was right, because we've discovered now recently that a lot of those charges were dropped. Okay, back to Christian real quick. I think that 360 deals aren't worth it. I know that's right. So back to Christian real quick. I think that Christian Keys can take his show because Christian has ownership of it. I think that is the reason why he feels confident that he can take it and roll out and take it to another streaming platform. The thing is, which is what I've been trying to get so many people to really think about seriously and take seriously, is that going to court, if you don't have an airtight agreement that says that you can just take it and run and take your stuff and move, it is such a huge undertaking. It is so difficult. It is so expensive. And just like I said before, Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson made it clear. She did not accuse the Supreme Court of doing this. She just said that she did not want the general public to feel like this actually happens, where moneyed interest take priority. So what do y'all think? Do you think that this could be a case of Diddy having a whole lot more money and having the ability, to really push through with these attorneys? Because like I said, Katori has the same team law firm that Diddy does. So y'all know what I'm up against already. I was like, damn, that's a powerful group of folks. Okay. EXO says, I don't see the public forgetting about the hotel lobby video with Diddy and how he initially lied about it, regardless of the outcome of his criminal trial. So let's talk about that video a little bit, you guys. I agree the video was terrible. Please come over to YouTube, hit like, share, and subscribe on your way in. I agree the video was terrible, but how do I say this without getting tomatoes thrown at me? We saw Diddy's horrible, terrible, awful video. But I know so many people, personally, people I've seen in the press and in the media, who go through domestic violence every single day. Just as vicious, just as terrible. I know somebody personally who has had a knot on their head and black eyes for about 3 months, who got abused by a partner. I know probably 3 people right now who are going through hell in domestic, DV, I guess we got to say on YouTube, situations. No high profile coverage, no global outrage. I'm sorry. I believe that we are more angry about the Diddy thing because we saw it. We saw the video. I mean, it was terrible. It was horrible. But this happens there are babies that have to see that. There are toddlers and infants that have to see their parents doing exactly or even worse. You see, there was just recently a woman in the news and I be trying to skirt around these issues because I know YouTube be like, nah, you can't really talk about all that. It's a little too heavy, Miss Gribbett. But you saw there's a video of a woman and her husband arguing, and the husband got pissed off, and I guess he hit her or did something to her and unalived her. And then the police came and they went after him and he unalived himself. And then there's a woman who was getting married or whatever. And the same thing happened to her. And then a woman with her man. So it happens every single day. So I'm not trying to soften the blow of what Diddy did to Cassie in the hotel. It was terrible, and nobody wanted to see that. But it happens every single solitary day. There are plenty of people, celebrities, non-celebrities, folks we know every day. Until we get to the point where we start listening to women, and not just women, because as we're discovering in these cases, there are men who have been abused as well. Until we start taking people seriously and stop teasing them, it's like on the one hand, you're like, oh my God, the stuff that we saw in that video was absolutely terrible. He should go to jail for the rest of his life because of the way he beat Cassie. But there are people who are saying that certain things happen to them by other celebrities and other people, and we don't believe them. Why? Because we don't see the video of the incident. Because there is no physical, real-time proof that we can look at and be like, oh, she wasn't lying, she was telling the truth. And I'm about to say one other thing, and I'm about to open up the floor, Elle, for you to talk about this a little bit, because I'm going to give people a little time to recover from what I'm finna say. But if it was me or you, or somebody who physically came off and looked like us in the middle of a fight in a hotel, I feel like the public sympathy and public outrage would not be as, oh, hit a man, go. I feel like it would not be as much public outrage as it is just because, dare I say, what you look like, how you present, has a lot to do with how much sympathy people have for you. Sorry if I pissed some folks off. I'm just saying. If she looked like the average woman out here in these streets and not so much a damsel in distress, I don't think people would be as outraged at what they saw. And the reason I'm saying that is because if you're from the 90s, there are videos of certain people, and I'm not about to throw folks under the bus talking about it, but if you saw it, you know what I'm talking about. There were people who got the beat out of them, and we saw clips of it, and nobody said a thing. D Barnes. Anyway, y'all find out about that D Barnes situation. And then there was somebody else who got out of a chair. We've seen it, but because they didn't look a certain way, and it wasn't maybe as violent, maybe we didn't see the whole thing. Meech! What it do, boo? How you doing?
Oh, baby, honey, it's gonna do what I tell it to do, child. Oh.
In my Monica voice, just one of them days. Welcome, Meech. Y'all, we got to give Meech some love. Whichever one you want to chime in on. If you want to chime in on Diddy, if you want to chime in on... Somebody said, what about Michelle A? Exactly. If you want to chime in on Diddy, Christian Keys, go for it, baby.
You know what? The Christian Keys one is the one that hit me. But I want to do this Diddy thing too, because you just posed an interesting question with a statement rather when you say about the looks of the individuals. And you know, we're now in this culture where because everything is done because of video and technology, we only get 30-second sound bites, and everybody can form an opinion and can be very strong with these opinions in 30 seconds. And whenever someone says, but we don't have the whole backstory, we don't have the whole story, people want to get upset. Well, what you mean? We got this. But it's like, hold up. Okay. What we saw in that tape was horrific because you chased this woman. You chased her, you grabbed her, you snatched her, you did and you did and you did. Which means at any point in time, with you running down that hallway in that towel, you could have stopped and said, I'm gonna do this later. Or you could have made another choice. You chose to go that far. You chose to go there. Then we had to look at the choice of stifling that tape because you paid somebody to put that under wraps. Because that was 16 years ago or however long it was, and then the tape came out. So the payola was there all this time. So that's the other part of this piece that we have to look at. Folks are outraged because you did it and they got to see it. This is no different than the George Floyd case and the police officer. If we had not seen that in live time, it would not have been what it was. Okay, it would have been it would have been standard stuff that we got with George Zimmerman and Trayvon Martin. It would have been that his word against him. It would have been the powers that be. We're still mad that George Zimmerman got off, but he had money. His folks were judges and carrying on, so he had prestige. And we see what justice does. I keep telling folks, y'all claim y'all want justice. No, you don't. You want retribution because justice was served, but it was served cold. Okay. Like gazpacho. Gazpacho is served cold. Okay. And I don't like cold tomatoes unless it's on a sandwich. Okay. But that there is what this is. The Christian Keys thing. No, wait a minute. Before I go there, I want to wrap up by saying you're right. Unfortunately, in this culture, looks are everything. And if you feel somebody was a dime piece, oh my God, how dare you beat this dime? Oh, she was beautiful. She was this. If you felt somebody was a 5 out of a 10, you know, then comes the speculation, oh, what did she do? She had to have done something. Okay. If you felt that she was a whore or a hoe or, you know, somebody who was lascivious, okay, you just said, oh, well, she got that coming. Look at her attitude. She got stank attitude or whether she get her with hell. See, it would have been all of that kind of conversation. Not so much of punishing the behavior. Y'all go demonize the person, which is why when we were saying a few episodes ago about making sure we don't victim shame, but it's not, we don't necessarily victim shame. We end up creating the victims because you already put in your mind, you became judge, jury, and prosecutor based on what you think it's supposed to be because of how you perceive them. Oh, she dressed that way. Oh, well, then she got what she got coming. Okay. Nikki, look at what you went through off of splicing and clips from R&B where they done made you this villain without knowing all of the backstory that had happened. But all we got was edited pieces, and everybody made a conscious decision. Well, they had to have something to edit. They had to have something to edit. That's part of her character. Did you know how many arguments I got into about that? And I'm telling folks, no, I'm an editor, honey. I know what we do for that. You know, but just because folks do that, and then we're very sensitive. You know, we're looking to have the gotcha moment, the aha moments, or this, that, and other, because everybody now got a podcast. Everybody trying to create content or whatever, just to jump on it. So a lot of this, honey, no, I have to agree with you. If it wasn't for the fact that certain girls look a certain way, the outrage would not be what it is. It would be just as fake as hell. We have something to talk about, yeah. But then in our secret dark corners or whatever, we go sit there side-eye it, because they're not up to snuff. And then it becomes jealousy. Oh, who she thinks she is. She ain't even all that. And she got up there with who? She got up there how? What? It becomes all of that, you know?
Let me add this real quick before you go into Christian Keys. First of all, let me get into some of these comments. But before I do that, you're 100% right when you talk about R&B divas, because there was a really horrible situation that happened on R&B divas where my daughter was asked to rub Keke Wyatt's husband's leg, to sit next to him and rub on his leg. And I flipped out and I called the network, like, how, like, are you out of your mind? Like, the way that could have gone, has she not gone to my husband and said, I was asked by the producers to rub Keke Wyatt's husband's leg, they could have been scrapping. And Kiki's pregnant, the whole 9 yards. That's the little shit that I mean when I say you guys have no idea what behind the scenes drama happens. But because of people's impression of who I was on the show, a whole gun got pulled on my husband. His life was threatened on set, but there was no empathy, right? No, there was a gun pulled. Everybody knows a gun was pulled, but nobody cared because they're like, oh, her black gums, blah, 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 blah. So the way people feel about you, even if it's not how you look, their perception of you will definitely determine whether or not they have empathy or sympathy for you in serious situations. Really interesting thing here. Danica says, Nikki, I hate to say this, but many will see the video differently since Cassie got paid millions in the end. It doesn't absolve him of guilt in my book, but many will view it differently now. I have to agree with that as well. Have to agree. My bad. Christian just liked a comment from someone who said they don't think it's Tyler Perry. I researched it again. Oh, okay, because he said we were talking about Christian, and we'll get into that. Hold on. We're still wrapping this Diddy stuff up. True. However, his social status and the rumors about his reputation compounds. This is about Diddy. Compounds the issue. I want to emphasize how he lied about it and used his influence. There's so many liars in this industry. This entertainment industry is made up of a lot of liars, a lot of thieves, and a lot of no good ass mofos. Period. And a lot of people who have paid a lot of money to silence people from stuff. So that's what I'm saying. I'm not making excuses for anybody's behavior, but what's good for the goose is good for the gander. Y'all think it's not people high up there, way higher than Diddy even, who have paid to silence people? I mean, let me ask this question and y'all can be honest. Oh, a person who suffers through a domestic violence situation, typically the reason why they go back is because they bribed. Either with the mortgage being paid, a car, a bag, or something. There's always a bribe, whether you call it an apology gift or a bribe. There's always something connected, and it's really terrible. And yes, he lied, and that's terrible. But at the end of the day, you can't put a man in jail, for that amount of time because he lied. Honestly, I think Diddy is going to end up getting time served. And I think that there's going to be 1, 2, maybe 3 jurors who don't believe that he is guilty of these charges. And I know people talk about the feds never get it wrong. And I respect, their position, and I know they're thorough, but I don't know on this one. It seemed like somebody somewhere might say, one of these jurors, that they don't believe he deserves to go to jail for the rest of his life, because I don't. And that's just what it is. I don't. I think what he did was whack, but I haven't seen anything that says to me that he should be taken away from his family for the rest of his life. Unless you're about to unpack all of the shit that all of these people have done that is either worse or equally as bad. So, Meech, Christian.
Well, this whole thing with Christian Keys, of course, he's been in my consciousness because of Mr. Dixon. Okay. But when he released the trailer for All the Queens of Men, honey, which is my show, Kai. Okay, now listen, give me some Doc at Midnight.
Is it the male answer to P Valley?
Okay, right. Okay. Give me some Doc at midnight any day, any time of the week, honey. Oh my God, today. But anyway, what is sad and what is hurtful is that I really believe that he is suffering from, I'm gonna call it a backlash from his espousing thing that he did. What was it? Is it a year ago now? When he came out and did his video, didn't name names or whatever. A lot of speculation, but a lot of folks believe that it was TP. But then, as he got to going and carrying on, when he said, this person has such a distinctive voice, to you would know it right away, honey. There's another name that came into play, honey, the Right Reverend. Okay. TD. Okay. And unfortunately, because of how people want to play games and want to tear up your livelihood, something he said that just struck me when he said, and I didn't even catch that during season 2 that they had removed his creator credit, from the credits or whatever. I said, wait a minute. And I hadn't paid that any attention because I knew he had created it based on his books and this, that, and the other. But I had not paid that no mind. And he said, they removed this. And now I got to fight with the network. I'm fighting with the network because they won't even tell me that we're back in production, or I got to find it online or social media, or folks are tagging me because I'm fighting out that way, and I'm the creator of the show. Okay. Very, very interesting. I'm willing to bet dimes to donuts, child, that this here is the grand old, okay, do you really want to play this game? Okay, because right now, like on the chessboard, honey, they just drop all
Hold
the
on.
pawns.
Who is the grand old? Do you really want to play this game? So what are you insinuating? Who is he referring to?
Okay, I'm gonna say I'm gonna say take your pick because it's more than just who we may think it is. It's more than just who they are. It is everybody that's in partnership with who we may think it is. Okay, because now is he who controls the bag, honey, controls controls the oil. And so now, or half the bag controls the oil. So right now, it is all of these things. He said in his tape that he's creating all the Queen's Men empire dynasty kind of thing. Similar to what 50 Cent is doing with Power. Okay, well, honey, you done already went and was talking about I done already took back room, they tried to do this or whatever on a meeting and I went to the office and you hit a button, honey, and the door open and it's a whole soiree, behind the wall or whatever. So right now it is all I'm just we who's involved, I'm saying all of the above that got the power to do it. Because right now those when you got money, those who got money who hang around those who got more money, those who got more money like to protect everybody who got money. So if you're gonna play this game, it becomes, are you sure you want to play it? Because it started with, we're gonna take your name off of this, ain't nothing you could do about it right now. This will get caught up in court for 10 years. Do you want to play this game? Because I would deplete your funds just on this one thing alone. You see that? Remember when I said about annihilation? They are trying to completely neutralize someone. Because now that you think that you're up there and want to play this game, it becomes neutralization. It is no longer about making sure. Back in the day, it was like, I'll make sure you never work in this town again. That was the big thing back in the day. Now, I'm going to make sure that your ass don't do shit ever. Okay? You won't even have a cup to beg or a quarter on the streets by the time I'm done with you. You know what I'm saying? And right now, I admire his courage. I admire the fact that he's shopping other networks or whatever. And it's funny that Catch, he said, I'm not going to do this over here at BET with the other shows. We're not doing this at BET. Okay? We're not doing this at BET. Y'all know that, and this is on, and all the Queen's Men is on BET Plus. And we all know a certain somebody, honey, got stock at BET Plus because hey, okay. Almost as if this person may try to buy that particular network or whatever. However, I'm just speculating there. At the same time, he has the tenacity to want to protect his brand, protect, what it was his, protect his intellectual properties. And it's all of that. And right now, it becomes, how are you going to dance, honey? Are you going to just be a dancer and you gonna dance to the music and do the dance that they tell you? Or are you gonna have some control? Either if I'm dancing to your music, then I'm gonna dance my dance. Or if you want me to dance your dance, then I'm playing the DJ and I'm gonna dance to my music. You ain't gonna get both.
Let me get into some of these comments. That is, y'all listen. It's like they say, speak on it, Meech. Everything you say, spot on. Everything you say, Lauren, is spot on. And I need the people that are coming in, joining us on YouTube, either watching us on Facebook, watching us on LinkedIn, or Instagram over here. I'm about to get into these Instagram comments. Please hit the like button when you come in. It allows YouTube to let the algorithm know that we are having great conversations over here. So Michael Dion says, the thing is that it's new to everyone else. The truth is that the root of a lot of broken dreams come from that behavior. The real artists were drowning trying to say this. It's a platform now. The better narrative is to understand the play, to keep the play to you for your role and keep pushing as long as you are able to take accountability for you. That's all that matters. The blackball list does not exist in this generation. People have a voice and multiple platforms to speak. Love you back, bro. So, yep, 100%. I mean, I still think, don't get it twisted. I definitely believe that there are very powerful people out here in these streets who have relationships with a whole lot of folks, and they do manage to shut shit down. The owners of the algorithm shut my shit down all the time. It is as simple as reporting people's, like they have, bot farms and shit like that. They're just basically reporting you all the time, saying that you're doing stuff that you're not doing, and then you got to go through the process of waiting. I'm like, shit, speaking of copyright, shout out to YouTube. YouTube has the best copyright, check you and stop you before you think you did. YouTube will shut your sugar honey iced tea down if it even looked like you are infringing on somebody else's rights. And that should be the system that everybody uses, so we don't have to do so much. Haven says, the question is, why are people out here taking people's work? It's giving you have no writer skills, just like P Valley. You stole you stole my sister's stuff. She's greater than that show. It's the principle behind that. Absolutely. Danica says, going against a major network, especially publicly, can harm creators' reputation with executives, agents, and future collaborators. Let me land on that for a minute, you guys, because that's the realest shit ever. The fact is that I applaud Christian. I applaud the young woman who is standing up for her rights, for she is the people. She the people. Anybody who is willing to speak truth to power and to risk. I'm gonna get into this. I might as well go on and get into this real quick, and then I'm gonna come back with my panel. But anybody who's willing to speak truth to power and risk their reputation to do so should absolutely be applauded. So we're gonna get back on this Diddy thing and wrap this thing up. But I want to give you guys, before it gets too late, because I definitely, let me plug this real quick. If you are in the city of Detroit, baby. If you are in the city of Cleveland, baby, Brownstone will be performing in both cities back-to-back, 27th and 28th, with Jagged Edge and Lloyd. So please make sure, if you haven't already, you get your tickets, because that would be absolutely fabulous to see all the beautiful people out here in these streets. Real quick, I'm gonna get into P Valley. Someone says, what is the brand of your lip? That is it right there, the Lip Bar. Y'all see it? The Lip Bar, Black-owned company from the city of Detroit. She does the best lips ever. Gotta support sisters when they come out. Okay, so real quick, you guys, here's a quick update on my case. I got an update overnight, and it is, I said before, I was a little on edge. I've been a little on edge here very recently because basically P Valley has, the lawyers at P Valley have done what is called waive their right to respond. So Katori and her lawyers have waived their right to respond. Lionsgate and their lawyers, I was waiting to see if Lionsgate was gonna waive their right to respond. Lionsgate did waive their right to respond. To explain to you what that means, lost at the district. I lost, we lost, and I don't even really like to call that shit lost, because I just feel like we never got a chance to go to court. We never got a fair trial, so we didn't lose. We were denied the opportunity to go forward. But we're denied the opportunity to go forward to trial at district court, denied the opportunity to go forward at the appeals court and in the Supreme Court. And I just want to clear this up real quick. The Supreme Court is not here to relitigate my case. So the point of the Supreme Court is not for them to listen to me argue about what Katori did or what Lionsgate did or what those people did. That is not what my writ of certiorari is about. That is not what the Supreme Court is here for. The whole point of the Supreme Court is to look at a case and determine whether or not that case presents enough of an issue for the Supreme Court to actually change a law or to set precedent, right? So the question is whether or not my case is a good vehicle for the Supreme Court to change the law or to set a new precedent. It's like a 0.0% chance overall in the Supreme Court when you have a really good lawyer. I think that chance goes down to like 0.00 when you're filing as a pro se litigant, which is what I am currently doing. But Just to give you guys an update. So Katori Hall's lawyer, she has a separate lawyer, asked me why. I don't even know. I couldn't even tell y'all. But she hired a separate lawyer because she didn't want to use Lionsgate's attorneys. So she hired actually the firm that represents Diddy, which is like, that should tell you all you need to know about the power of her law firm. So the other thing is, unless you are a pro se litigant, you have to be barred in the Supreme Court of the United States. Katori's attorneys are barred in the Supreme Court of the United States, which is like an elevated version of a lawyer. It just, I guess, means you're extra super badass, which her attorneys are. Badass women. Can't be mad. So they waived their right. Lionsgate waived their right. And today I found out that my case is going to conference on September 29th, 2025. All of the above. Case is going to conference on September 29th, 2025. So here's the good, the bad, and the ugly about that. Because again, I be asking the computer because the computer don't really have no emotions, and the computer be telling you what's really going on in real life. So number one, this is not a defeated attitude. I'm not having a defeated attitude at all. But the bottom line is I understand I have very slim chances of, this thing being granted. So the phases you have to go through is you file a writ of certiorari. It goes to conference. It was distributed for conference, meaning the defendants, when I say waive their right, they waived their right to respond. So they were just like, we're not going to respond. We're not even going to dignify this with a response. So typically what it means when the other lawyers decided that they're not even going to dignify with a response is that my writ doesn't stand a chance. It's like, girl, get that out of here, please. We're not even going to waste our time. Plus, the law firm is probably stretched because they're in the middle of the Diddy trial right now. So they're probably like, look, we really ain't about to waste our time with this bullshit because it's a pro se litigant and it's a Diddy trial. Now, here's another one of the pluses in my case. Typically, the Supreme Court does not ask you for any information. They just pretty much look at the thing and then they'll deny the writs outright. Now, what the Supreme Court has done, which is a boon, which is a positive thing for my case, is they reached out and told me that I needed to file my supplemental appendix. I don't know if y'all seen, I got like a side-by-side comparison chart where it just kind of goes and shows the similarities in a side-by-side chart. Because I'm filing as a pro se litigant, I was not able to file electronically. So because I wasn't able to file electronically, they couldn't watch the comparison video. I mean, they can. I think they can click on the link, but it's on paper. I had to actually do these little books. So the fact that the judges, gave me an extension, because another thing I mentioned is that Lionsgate was going to drop the fees, meaning at one point, when my sister was very ill, I asked them, please, you guys, let's just let this go. Like, I will not go forward. I will stop here. My sister is in hospice. It's a lot going on. Would you guys please have mercy and just let this be done? They said yes initially, and then right before it was going to be too late for me to file my Supreme Court writ, and I talked about this last night, go to a lot more detail, check out the video. They switched up on me. Please hit the like button when you guys come in. They switched up on me. Katori never said she would agree to do it, actually. Victoria was like, please, bitch, run me my loot. Paraphrasing, that ain't what she exactly said, but y'all get the picture. Lionsgate said yes, then Lionsgate changed their minds at the very last minute. So because it was last minute, I didn't have time to pull this thing together and find a lawyer, so I asked them to I petitioned the Supreme Court to give me an extension to file, which, by the grace of God, Justice Kagan granted that. And they gave me an extension. I went trying to find a lawyer, could not find one, could not afford one, just to be completely funky with y'all. My name ain't Katori Hall of Lionsgate. I can't afford these big lawyers. I've been paying for them for 5 years. Ain't no shame in my game. So I decided to do this myself with the help of some really smart friends, tons of research and knowing my case. It is unusual to have a pro se litigant file a writ of certiorari and have the court respond by saying, hey, there might be something to see here. Give me your comparison short list separately. So the judges all have that. So now we're at the phase where the judges are actually reviewing my case. It was distributed to the clerks and the judges because Katori and them said, we're not even going to respond. We are unbothered. This case ain't going nowhere. whatever. So what happens from here is either the court says to them, whoa, 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 not so fast. We want a response from this. We need you to explain what's really going on here. If the court does not require them to respond, then that is a sign that they're not really taking allegedly, historically, it is a sign that they're not taking my petition so seriously, right? So I'm just going to tell y'all real quick what chat says about this. So it is being distributed to the justices as we speak. I got the message today that is going to the justices without Lionsgate or Katori responding to it. And then they'll review it. And then the conference where they discuss whether or not they're going to grant it is September 29th. So I'm definitely going to have a prayer on that day. The one thing I'm happy about is that whatever happens on this day, this journey has come to an end. Either it's come to an end or I'm going to trial. We're going to the next step. I need 4 of the justices in the Supreme Court to agree to hear my case. Just 4 of them need to agree to hear my case. But again, my case has to be something that is worthy of changing copyright law. The reason I think it's so important is because, real simple, the laws that were established that helped me lose my case were established by very wealthy, powerful companies that were against underfunded plaintiffs 90% of the time. So because plaintiffs either stop after they lose their appeal or stop after they lose in the district court, these laws never get a chance to get challenged. There's never a situation where somebody's like, hey, this doesn't make sense. This is leaning in favor of the big boys. Who's going to come up and challenge this? That person would be me. That person would be me. It's not personal at this point. It has really less to do about my case against Lionsgate and P-Valley. I have a bitter heart on some levels about it, but I also realize I have to let this shit go because I'm not going to be, no disrespect to Madam Sophia Stewart, but I'm not going to be 20 years after my case, still talking about it on podcast. You know what I mean? It's heartbreaking to think that I really have to just let this shit go. I have to let it go. Now, when these people come and try to attach themselves to all of my assets and all that other stuff, I'm going buck the fuck wild. I'm just letting y'all know. So get ready for that. Because what you're not going to do, I'm documenting every step. I'm calling a spade a spade. When they come to the point, we trying to take yo this, we trying to take yo that, we trying to take, y'all going to know all about it. But that's a different part of it. And that's just because I believe that there is power in people saying enough is enough. So the way y'all can help me, if they come and try to take all my sugar honey iced tea, is unsubscribe from that motherfucking network. That's the reverse. They try to take from black women, destroy my family, destroy what we've built, whatever. That's how y'all show up for me. Click unsubscribe. If you got to have it, then I totally get it. But if you care about making a point, which is why I always say this, my truth is maybe not for the court of law, but for the court of public opinion, because we have the power to unplug from that to stop that shit from happening. But what the robot says is that when a respondent waives their right to respond, it signals to the court that the case may not warrant review. But the justices, more specifically, only one justice, it only needs to be one justice, can call for a response if they believe the petition raises important issues or question. If no response is requested, the petition can still be distributed for conference, which mine is, where the justices vote on whether or not to grant it. Now, the fact that they asked me for a supplemental appendix. I know that sounds like a really big word, but the supplemental appendix is a sign that somebody looked at it and said, hey, hold up, I don't know what you're talking about, but it's something to see here. And I just hope that I can get 4. If I get 4 justices that say, after they distribute this to conference, there are 9. If I get 4, all I need is 4, you guys, all I need is 4. If I get 4 Supreme Court justices that say, this was a denial of due process, she should have been allowed to go to trial. Her expert testimony should have been allowed to have been submitted as evidence. Her deposition should have been allowed to be submitted as evidence. The fact that she gave her materials to Lionsgate should have, then hopefully that will change the future for other creatives. If they do not, then what it will say, and I have to be okay with this, and then I'm gonna be off this P Valley shit. If they don't do it, then what it says is that creatives don't stand a chance. So I would say to anybody out there who thinks that they might end up being in a court case fighting for their intellectual property rights, to follow this case very, 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 very closely. And pray for your girl. That's it. But the good news is, the very good news is, we're celebrating all the small victories, honey. All the small victories is my case has moved on to the next phase in the Supreme Court. And it has been distributed for conference. And on September 29th, we are going to find out if Katori Hall and Lionsgate have to pay for that shit. Hallelujah. Glory to God. All right, Soror. So we're not going to make this too long. I'm stopping at 1 hour and 30 minutes, you guys. Let's see what folks are saying down here real quick. Instagram, I hope that y'all have logged on. Danica says, I never watched an episode in my life. EXO says they aren't rushing it. They'll consider it at the start of their new term later this year. It's a hopeful sign. Thank you very much. I need that. They dropped state charges, which can be pardoned. Which can't be pardoned. But what about the federal charges to pardon him? Okay. How do creatives best protect themselves going forward? Lauren, that's a question for you.
So there are things that you can do to try to protect yourself. You always want to have your creative works, whatever they may be, copywritten, any phrases, anything like that. You want to have those patented, which you can do with the U.S. Patent Office and the Copyright Office. You definitely want to go that route. If you have the means, you want to consult an attorney, but you want to consult an attorney that is specific for intellectual property, because that is what they specialize in, because they can help you protect your works moving forward. Before you say, okay, I wrote this really great show, I have this really good idea for a movie or a play or something like that, you want to have your ideas protected, because that is your intellectual property, something that comes from your brain, that you put on paper, that you put the work in, you put the countless hours in to make it what it needs to be before it's presented to a company. And you want to make sure that those things are protected before you present those things, so that something like this will not happen to you. Because this is not, like, this case, Nikki's case, is not the first case in history that has happened. There are a lot of things that people don't hear about, they don't know about, because they were set up quietly, because the people on the other side that took the idea from the person admitted that, okay, yeah, I was wrong and I got caught and I done made all of this money. The Matrix, look it up. They done made all this money, and that's not my original idea. That was somebody else's idea. So if you are a creative person, and it's like anything, your writing, your artwork, you know, any type of like photographs, anything that's creative, your songs, all of that stuff, you want to make sure that your things are protected, because if not, you know, somebody can take your work and then claim it as their own, and then be in situations like this. We have a project that we actually need to get back to, because we had to take a pause on the calls, but it's about some historic television that everybody loves. Good times. And you know, it's just like we had to step away. I say we because I'm a part of Teamwork, so don't get me twisted. Teamwork all day. But we had to step away from that because of what's going on with this case. And that story is still an important story that needs to be told. And we want to get back to that, because, you know, a lot of people don't know the real story behind Good Times. And that's sad, because everybody loves that show.
And yeah, we Eric Monty is the creator, godfather of the sitcom. The story, when you have a chance to see the story that we've been working on and developing, and shout out to Eric Monty and his family. His daughter is an incredible writer. She's finished a novel. It's crazy. But when you hear the story of what happened with Eric Monty, it is going to break your heart. This is something that has been happening for years. And that is part of the reason why I'm fighting so hard, not just for myself, but for all creatives, because it's just the level field. I mean, the playing field is not level. There's no way that any person in their right mind. I mean, seriously, you guys, let me get to Danika's question before I become emotional about this. She says, this may be a little off subject. I hope it's okay. But I was curious to know if you work with content creators for Worth TV, and if so, in what capacity? Abso-freaking-lutely. So Danica, what you do is go to worthmedia.com, WIRF media.com. And for those of you who don't know, Worth is Women in Reality Film, TV, Music, and Media, period. We started building this platform 2017, 2018, a lot of things happened. Life happened. It's been difficult. For the last 5 years, I've been fighting this thing. And I know that it seems like every time y'all see me, I'm talking about it, but that's just because, that's just how important this battle is. And I will just say this. Stay tuned. We got some really amazing stuff coming. Now that I know that my case has finally been distributed to all of the justices and their clerks for review, and I know that they will be discussing this in their conference on September 29th. Make sure y'all mark y'all calendars. September 29th, 2025. And that, of course, could change. But for right now, as it stands, it's September 29th, 2025. You guys can go to supremecourt.gov. Go to supremecourt.gov. And then search docket. And when you search docket, you put Gilbert Daniels. I'll put the docket number. Actually, I have a link for the docket that we'll put in the description box, so you can just click the link. So you'll be able to see what the latest and greatest is with this case. This really is about empowering creatives. And there is a documentary film about my journey coming, as well as some other really cool stuff. So y'all, thank y'all so much for always giving us positive input. I'm trying to be really consistent. We are traveling over the next few days. We got shows, so there will not be any nights with Nikki. We might be able to do Sunday night. Actually, I'll be coming back on Sunday night, so we might actually be able to do Sunday night to make up for the fact that we won't have a Thursday and a Friday show. But Lauren, can we just give ourselves a round of applause? Because Lauren has been on me. She is the producer of this show and a bunch of other stuff that we're doing. And she has been on me about making sure that I'm staying consistent with this YouTube game. Please just go back and look at there are people on Instagram saying, y'all, Instagram, please do me a favor and saunter on over to YouTube and hit like, share, and subscribe. So we are going to continue giving you guys episodes of Nights with Nikki. It's just a different perspective. And we got some big things coming with this platform. And Danica, worthmedia.com, please put your information in there and we will recognize your name right off rip. Lauren or Pam, somebody from our team will reach out so we could talk about how we can come together. Yes, we are hyper focused on changing the narrative, still entertaining, uplifting, and inspiring people. And just because we say entertain, uplift, and inspire does not mean that we're trying to have some boring shit up in here. We're definitely going to have some great, compelling television and content, but we definitely want to make sure whatever we do is elevating our community. And we got some dope stuff happening. So prayers to each and every one of you. Haven says, Lauren, y'all will see each other this weekend for sure. Prayers to everybody who watched us and hung out with us tonight, you guys. Please make sure you hit the like button and go back and look at some of those older videos. Again, September 29th, 2025 is the day that our case will be distributed to. Meech says, sorry, everybody, he had to step off. But Meech, I'm so glad they love our dream team. It's just such a perspective. And the fact that we all three of us are from Detroit, just giving these people hell, baby. We just giving these people a little bit of hell. So to recap, we are hoping and praying that everything goes well with Christian Keys. We will keep our eyes on that. I'm sure that there'll be more to talk about as it relates to Mr. Christian Keys. I'm really excited about finding out where this Diddy thing wraps up. So, Lauren, do you know when is the trial supposed to wrap?
So it's really based on like how long it takes for closing arguments. So closing arguments start tomorrow, and they could go through until Friday. And then if it goes to like maybe the morning part of Friday, then probably what the judge will do will be to call a recess for like the lunch hour and then come back and make his decision on if he's going to make the decision or if he's going to end up giving the jury instructions. If he gives the jury instructions, then their deliberations probably will not start until next week Monday, and who knows how long it could take them to deliberate because they have a lot of information to review because this trial has been going on for almost a month. So it could be a verdict can come out sometime next week. It could be the week after that. And then we also have to keep in mind that the 4th of July is next Friday as well. So they wouldn't be, if they haven't reached a verdict by then they wouldn't be in deliberations on that day, which would take us to the following week. So it could be as early as next week. At the earliest, it could be on Friday if the judge decides to grant the motion of the defense and make the decision himself. So we won't know until after closing arguments.
Okay. Well, there you have it. Next week, it look like we're going to have a lot to talk about, y'all. If you could do me a favor, if everybody on this live could do me a favor and just say, hey, listen, you should check out WIRF.TV's YouTube channel, subscribe. All I want for my birthday is for us to get to 20,000 subscribers. We're almost there. All I want, you Instagram. Only a few of y'all need to subscribe. That's where the bulk of the followers at. So I need y'all to show up. It would be wonderful. My birthday's July 8th. I'm turning 2 nickels, and I'm so excited about that. So that might be another time that we might take a little bit of a break. But listen, we're not going to ever do a long hiatus again. We are in here. 10:30 is the sweet spot. You guys, thank y'all so much. Thank you, EXO. Thank you, Danica. Thank you to all of our Lamar. Thank you, Haven. Thank you to all of our usuals that come up in here and make us feel like we're actually doing something really special. Worth TV, where content is queen. I am your host, Nikki Gilbert Daniels, and that is my Sarah. I said my Sarah, Lauren, and one of my best friends since high school. I was the Mock Turtle. He was the Griffin. Big Meech. We will be back with you guys next week. And guess what? We gonna unpack this whole Diddy thing. Hey, whoop whoop. You listening to what? Brownstone, stand by me. Make sure y'all come and check us out. Big Kato. A big Kato. A big Kato. All right, y'all. Love you guys. Thank y'all. Please hit like, share, and subscribe. Hey, whoop whoop. What you gonna do? Whoop whoop. What you gonna do? Hey.